Okay, so where do I start? Well, first off, I'm sorry I haven't made an upload recently. Um, been busy filling out applications, trying to do something with my life. Unfortunately, I see it like this. When the 90s hit, everybody wanted to get healthy. Everybody wanted all the standards of what it is to be good to yourself and treat yourself better than what we did back in, say, like the 80s or the 70s, where we were just a bunch of party animals, slowly degrading ourselves by eating nothing but junk food and doing drugs and doing ridiculous things. I understand that. Like me, I'm a smoker. I'm trying to quit smoking. It's been really hard. It's actually the one thing that I've had the unfortunate problem with kicking. Um, but the other thing that I noticed is that now in the new millennium, the area of the 2000s, um, we have come across this problem where everybody, and I don't know if this is just me, but everybody has like this certain quality of standards. Everybody has to have certain standards to be able to do anything. Me, for instance, I don't have a high school diploma. I ended up dropping out of high school after a bunch of shenanigans, and I'm not going to get into that. But I also never been able to get my GED because to get your GED, you have to take GED classes. But to get GED classes, you have to pay money for, which means you have to have a job. What? I don't get that. I don't get how you have to have this vicious cycle of where it's you have to have something to get something, but to get that something, you have to have that something, but you can't get that something without having the first something. It's it's a whole asinine, ass backwards concept. It's stupid. Um, the American people are stupid. And I'm just saying that in general because realistically, I want to get a job. I want to work. I do. I really do. I worked when I was in Colorado a couple of years ago and it was great. I moved back to Arizona and everybody is such, to put it politely, a tight ass on the subject. The last place that almost hired me were like, we would hire you if you had more recent job experience. Well, I would have more recent job experience if somebody would actually let me put my foot in the damn door and actually let me get a job. Nobody likes to give people opportunities, especially when their resume or their application doesn't meet their qualifications, or if they don't have any good schooling degree of any kind. Basically, if you're poor, it doesn't matter what color or race you are or anything. It just matters on whether you have what they expect you to have. They have these high morals and expectations of what you should be, how you should be. And it's ridiculous, especially because the last place that I almost got a job at was filled with people like me with piercings and tattoos and even then they didn't like me because I didn't have any good schooling. I didn't have any recent job experience. The last recent job I had involved a 61-year-old man who became a horrible alcoholic and threatened to beat the living dog tar out of me for showing up to work, for going to work. And so I quit. It was an under the table job though. It's not like you could put things like under the table work, like being a gopher for a construction site or being a guy who digs ditches all day long. Heck, nowadays you can't even go and get a day labor job out here in Arizona unless you have your own vehicle. That's asinine. How am I supposed to get my own vehicle if I don't have the money to buy a vehicle? That's why I want to go to day labor and get a job and work for the money to buy the vehicle. But I can't do day labor because I don't have the car. Well, that's just ridiculous. I find it terrible how people's standards are when it comes to what you need to be able to work for them. But they'll go out and they'll grab these newer kids who have finished high school, who have done some things with their lives. Like, oh yeah, I was working at McDonald's for like a whole week. Oh, cool. You have recent job experience. We'll hire you. They work for about 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month at the most, and then they quit because the job's too tough or the job's too hard, or they just get fired because they're lazy and they don't actually know how to do their job, and they just screw around and eventually end up just losing their shit. I just don't understand. I don't get it. I don't know where this is coming from. Where this ideal that you have to have all these certain standards to get anywhere. All it needs is somebody who is willing to work, to put them to work, so that way they actually can get the job done. I can't get any jobs done if nobody will be willing enough to give me the chance to get a job done. I find it ridiculous. Hopefully, I'm going to hit up some of those desperation jobs, those places that are just like, we will hire you if you've killed your own mother kind of places. Because at this point, there's not really much to say on when or where or how I'm going to get a job. I just care if I get the job. I want to get a job so I can eventually pay for my GED classes, get my GED, and eventually start going to college. And then hopefully work up enough money to start actually making an actual better YouTube channel than me talking to my phone. But anyway, guys, that's my rant for the night. It's been one of those tough times. I don't expect anybody to subscribe to me because I ain't got nothing really good going on right now. But I would like some likes, maybe some comments if anybody comes across anything that happens to live in Arizona and you happen to know of some places